Okay, so welcome back, guys. My name's Hannah. If this is the first video that you're clicking on, I just want to extend a very warm welcome to everyone watching. This is my channel, Journey to Well, where we dive into all things cycle syncing, manifestation. We talk about actually a lot of things. Somatics, one of the newest and greatest things that we are walking through this series is human design. So if you haven't clicked on and watched the intro to human design, go ahead and start with this video and then come back. Leah, I love this. I am joined with Leah. She is a pure manifester, which we were just chatting before we hit record. I'm realizing that I think I know the least about manifestors. So I am super excited to chat with you, Leah, about manifestors, pure manifestors, what learning about human design has done for you in your life. A small introduction, then I will hand the reins over to you. But Leah is a small business attorney. She's a former wedding planner, which I'm super interested in hearing that transition from you, and also an author. So thank you so much for coming on. It's so great to have you, and I'm really excited for this conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to chat.
So go ahead. I'm going to turn the reins over to you. A little bit of an introduction. We were also laughing. I feel like I ask this question every time, like, how do you want to be introduced? And most of the people that I talk to are super cool people. And they're like, what is that? What does that even mean? Like, I'm not just a small business attorney. How do I have 30 seconds to introduce myself? So maybe throw out some fun facts about yourself, however you want to introduce yourself, and then we'll dive into human design and manifestors.
Yeah, well, so my journey, I actually am telling people I'm in my full circle moment now because I actually started my career as an attorney, then decided to become a wedding planner and started a wedding planning company. And now I've come back to being an attorney, which I kind of swore I would never do. So it's been a very interesting journey for me.
I love that. Oh my gosh. I like the full circle moments though. I think those are like really cool moments to have in
Yeah.
our
Yes. And we'll get into it, but like part of my human design stuff definitely came into play in like making the decision to go back to being an attorney. So
Okay. Okay. So let's start with people clicking on this video obviously have some sort of interest in learning about manifestors, whether they themselves are a pure manifestor or they have a loved one or someone close to them that is also a manifestor. I would love to open up the floor actually without me spurting out all of my knowledge. What does being a manifestor mean to you through your lens? And what have you learned about in your journey of learning about human design? Like, what have you learned about manifestors that really aligns with you and your personality and your energy?
yeah, I mean, I first learned about human design several years ago, I think pre-COVID, if we're saying the C word here. Um, never really got in, like knew what it was, but never really went deep on it. And then this year decided, just as kind of like trying out a lot of different sort of like healing modalities, and like in addition to traditional therapy and like trying Reiki and energy coach and stuff, I decided to get into human design. I have a good friend that was into it. She is the one who introduced me to Cynthia. And so I kind of think like it was that introduction that made me decide to like really kind of go deep on it. And in reading more about being a manifester, and I know people that are listening are going to think this sounds like cheesy or sort of hyperbolic, but like diving into being a manifestor has really helped me understand things about myself and put words to things that I've always known, always observed, but never really kind of understood. And so it's been truly, truly transformational. Like it has been truly transformational to sort of learn these things about myself, understand how I experience things, understand how other people experience me, which for me was a key part of all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been really interesting and a really great experience.
Wow. I love that you brought up how people experience me, because we walk through the world thinking that everyone experiences the world like we do. And that's one of the benefits of learning, I think, about human design or astrology or any of these kind of modalities is kind of that illumination that, oh yeah, maybe not everyone experiences the world exactly how I do. And maybe people don't move through the world like I do. Like
Mhm.
manifesting generators, and I'll ask you this question, but manifesting generators have kind of this ability, I am a manifesting generator, have this ability to create energy. And when we find things that light us up, it's like we could be freaking exhausted. And then if we do something that's lighting us up, like we find this energy out of nowhere almost. And I didn't realize that not everyone can do that, especially projectors. My last partner was a projector. And I used to have these like, I'd be like, why is he just not doing it? Like, just buck up, dude. Like, just buck up. And now that I kind of see the world through this lens, or I have this new lens, it's almost like allowing more grace in
Mm.
for other people and also grace for myself. It
Yeah.
goes both ways. So how is manifestors walking through the world, you specifically, of course, energy wise, how does that come into play?
If you read about manifestors, one of the things that we're told is that, and it sounds negative. So it sounds negative. We're told that we have a closed and repelling aura, which may sound really bad, but for me, it explained so much. Because so I also consider myself a highly sensitive person and an empath. And
Yeah.
so very like just in tune to other people's energy. And there were people in my life that I came across who the best way to describe it was they just didn't know what to do with me. Like I didn't sort of fit, I don't know, like a normal role of what they expected of a person.
Okay.
And I felt their sort of weirdness to me and then was kind of reacting to their weirdness. So it was like we
Mm,
were just like oil and water, like very kind of
okay.
repelling and not in necessarily a negative way, but just sort of that like they don't understand me. They don't really know what to do with me. And I'm feeling that energy from them, and so like I'm uncomfortable here. I'm not going to form close relationships with these people. But yeah, I had noticed that throughout, I mean, for a very long time in my life, and to finally kind of read that and understand that. And one of the things that manifestors, the information goes into is that a lot of it has to do with control. Manifestors do not like being told what to do. We don't like being controlled. And so a lot of times it's those people who like to be able to like control people, not control in like a super, I don't know, in like a really confined sense, but
Mm-hmm.
just sort of control like people that like to be, they like to be the group leader. They kind of like to have all the attention. And so people like that, when they come across me, don't necessarily love my energy.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. I like that. And I like the honesty, and it's good to know that, right? Like it's all just information. So
Exactly. It's just, yes, exactly. And it, like what it did though, just learning that made me sort of feel less bad about these kind of weird interactions. Cause it was kind of like, you know what? It's not, I shouldn't take it personally. That's what it
Mhm.
really helped me do, was to kind of not take these sort of like awkward feeling, energetic moments and take it
Yeah.
personally and be like, oh, I'm the weird one, or like I can't be the way that they want me to be, kind of thing.
Yeah, I love that. And there's a lot of, I think, acceptance, at least for me, that's what I have found is like, I think that there's a fine line, and this is what I talk a lot about with my clients, learning about human design, learning about any tool that I teach about or share about is not putting ourselves in that box. Like you don't have to, if you don't align with something that you're learning about manifestors or manifesting generators or any other topic, to me, like human design is not to put us in this box and then this is how we are. Because
Yeah.
if you want to come from a logistical standpoint, like we are just talking about the tip of the iceberg with human design, with the energy types. There is so much more. There's your profile, there's your authority, there's like what I guess that's your authority. There's yourself and your not self. There's all of the gifts. Like there's so much to human design. So anyone that's watching this, take this, I always say, take what serves you and leave the rest. But I think that there is that fine line of, I'm going to put myself in this box versus I'm just going to see what kind of box that I fall in right now, and see where I want to push the edges a little bit, where I don't align, where I want to put myself in another box in like a different scenario, and then just kind of go from there. But like you, I have gained so much insight in learning about my human design energy type and my authority and my self and not self and the themes, because it also gives me kind of that permission slip, like you said, to like not take everything so personally, not maybe maybe take everything just with a little bit of a lighter side. So one of the other things that I learned about manifestors, which just intrigues me so much, is you are the only human design type that can initiate. And would you please, in your own words, first describe what that means for those of us that don't know? And then I'm very curious to hear how you navigate that in your world.
Yeah. So my understanding of how that we're meant to initiate is that we don't ask for we don't ask for permission. We also don't wait for opportunities to come to us. We go out and create the opportunities and seize them. And apparently with the other types, that leads to like just a lot of like conflicting energies. Like other types are supposed to like wait for things to come to them.
Mm-hmm.
And manifestors are, I mean, it's not purely like manifestation, because I don't think those two terms go synonymously, but it is very much like initiating, going out and doing, creating, leading, developing. Like we are just meant to go do things. We are supposed to inform. So that is like a little piece of the manifestor thing. We're supposed to tell people what we're doing, but we don't have to ask for permission. We don't have to wait for anybody's blessing. We don't have to wait for opportunities to come to us. We go out and we create the opportunities.
I love that. Thank you. And okay, I have so much to say, but now I want to hear again from you. How has that played a role in your life? And do you, as a manifestor, I'm not sure. I'm curious because as a manifesting generator, I inform, but before learning, kind of doing my deep dive in this, I would inform, but also kind of ask like, what's your opinion? And like ask for permission almost, which it may be just an MG thing. But did you ever struggle with that? Or are you just kind of like, nope, I'm just informing you and I'm gonna go create?
When I was younger, I definitely did. Like it was definitely, and that was just kind of like a product of like how I was raised and my personality. Like I was very like I'm a rule follower. I was a really good student. Like I was the good girl. I was the goody two shoes, let's be
Yeah,
honest.
me too.
And so yeah, and like I was kind of I played small for a lot of my life and like wanted to get people's approval and wanted to run things by people, and a lot of that was kind of just like a lack of self-confidence in doing stuff. And then I mean, once I decided I wanted to become a wedding planner and start my own company. I mean, like looking back, I obviously didn't know it at the time, but that was like a very manifestor move. That was kind of like, look, to my parents, hey, I'm going to start a wedding planning company and do this thing and, not get anybody's approval over it. Like I'm informing you, I'm telling you that this is happening, but like I'm doing it. And then kind of same thing going, like shutting down my planning company and opening up a law firm with a friend of mine, who happens to be a manifesting generator. So I know a lot about, I know a lot about you. But yeah, it is definitely looking back again, it just explains so much about how I operate. And then also how I feel best in doing that. Like I don't feel good when I'm asking for people's approval or getting people's permission for things or caring too much about what other people think. Like I really shine when it's like, hey, this is what I'm doing. You can come along. And they say about manifestors, like the people that are your diehards and are going to come along for the ride, they're going to be with you. They will follow you till the ends of the earth. And then there's going to be those people that don't get it. And that's all totally fine.
Mhm.
And that was like just a very comforting, reassuring thing for me, and just something that I was helpful to be reminded of.
Yeah, yeah. And realizing, right, like, yeah, it is all part of the journey. So it's to do the initiating and to do the creation doesn't mean that there's not going to be some bumps along the road or that everything is going to be roses. But the feeling, I really like that you brought up how you feel moving through making decisions, and that we can talk a little bit about the self and the not self. So
Mm,
Cynthia did talk about this in the introduction to human design video, but every energy type has kind of these different vocabulary terms for, I like to say, living in alignment, and not even not living in alignment, because it's just maybe something that like creates a little bit of friction or shows you that maybe I can pivot or adjust my sales a little bit because this particular way is not working. So living in alignment or yourself, what is that for a manifester? And then the not self.
yeah, the not self is anger, and the like your signature or your like alignment is peace. And so I can definitely feel that, because like when I get angry, it tends to be really hard to get out of. And
Okay.
so like I'm now cued into that more in terms of
Mm.
like how I'm feeling and understanding that something is not right.
Mhm, mhm. Mine, so for manifesting generators, and we talk about this in the MG video, but it is satisfaction and frustration. And I had this moment in my life when I was learning about human design, and I read, literally I read the word frustration. And I'm like, holy moly, this is exactly the exact word that I use when now I can recognize I'm living out of alignment. We'll just
Mm,
call it that for simplistic terms. I would literally say, like, I'm so fucking frustrated right now, and I don't know what to do or like what's going on. And that is just kind of like, now it's a light bulb moment of, okay, let's just look at this. Let's just look at what situation I'm finding myself in. And again, making some small adjustments to then
mhm.
maybe feel that satisfaction. So peace and anger, I really like those. I really like those two terms as
Yeah.
well.
And I like it because it's very obvious.
Yeah.
Like I know when I'm angry. It's not like I have to be like, ooh, am I this? Am I that? Like, no, I know when I'm angry, and I know when I feel like I'm at peace. So for me, the very extreme ends of that help tremendously.
Yeah. And sometimes, like, talking about the benefits of learning about human design, like, it's sometimes it's just hearing those words, right? Like, to me, like, when I heard them for MG, I was like, oh, this totally makes sense. Like, whenever I do something, like the end of posting a YouTube video or something, for example, I feel satisfied, or like doing my
Mm,
in-person events, I come home and I might feel very tired and my energy might feel drained because I just gave out so much of my energy, but I still feel very satisfied. And like, that is not something, also, like you said, it's not something that I need to question. Like, I know when
mhm.
I'm frustrated and I know when I am satisfied. So hopefully that is helpful for MGs. So tell me, I'm very curious. You shared a couple moments already of like aha moments when you clicked, but is there any other moment in your life when you're walking through learning about manifestors where you were just like, oh, this specific part of the manifestor energy, like, wow, that really clicked for me. Or I can see now looking back, like where learning about this really comes in handy.
Yeah, honestly, it has to do a lot with the inform piece. And the
Mm,
inform piece for me comes up on such a practical level in
yeah.
terms of like deciding, even just like with friends or with my husband, like making a decision to do something. There are times when like I've decided to do something and I tell somebody after the fact, and it doesn't really go over well.
Yeah. Yeah. Love it.
And so it's fascinating to kind of like think it's like honestly a communication tool.
Yeah.
I also realized, so here's a perfect, just kind of mundane example. So I realized also too, like I like to be informed. That's also part of the manifestor. Like we need to inform, but we also appreciate being informed. And so like, let's say I'm going out to meet friends for dinner or something like that. I have always considered myself an over communicator, and that now makes sense, like needing to inform people. And I like other people to be especially communicative with me. So like if I'm going to dinner with somebody and somebody is running late, if I'm running late, I'm automatically going to tell you I'm running late because I'm an over
Mhm.
communicator. I'm informing you that I'm going to be late.
Mhm.
And previously I would sort of be like, oh, it's kind of common courtesy to let people know that you're late, but we are not mind readers. Other people don't know that that's what I want to hear. So
Mhm.
what I now do is like text the group like, hey, I just got to the restaurant, or like I'm leaving now. Let me know if you're running late or something like that. So that way I can be like, hey, can you inform me? Because that's what I like, instead of not telling you what I need or what I want and then getting frustrated when you aren't communicating with me like that.
I love that example. Thank you so much. That's so like potent. I feel you so much on the I think that, man, there's specific examples where I'm like, I do not inform. And then there's also specific examples like that I do inform. I think actually in the past, I have been someone that I want to be informed. I definitely want you to inform me, but manifesting generators, maybe it's because we have such like high energy and we're always doing 5 things at once, more than 5 things at once, that I struggle with informing people. So like some small tips, like my current partner and I, we share a calendar, a Google calendar. I also share a different calendar with my sister. But that's one of the ways that like you always know when I'm traveling or when I have this meeting, or like when to not text me because I'm in a client session or something like that. So that's also a way that we can
Mm-hmm.
inform our peeps. But in doing like when if I have a new idea and I'm so excited about it, I tend to just go, straight full stream ahead, and I sometimes still struggle with informing my family members or those that surround me. Um, but it's always a work in progress. It
Yeah.
always is.
Yeah.
You know it now, right? And like I love that you're like, now I ask to be informed because I know that's what I want and that's how I respond best. One of the most interesting pieces of human design that I learned about, and I use it more as a coaching tool, and I can't remember the exact terminology, so maybe you will know it and it's okay if you don't. But projectors, for example, they do much better with the open-ended questions. So
Oh.
especially like in coaching, I will try, if I know that my client, which I do because I ask them all their birth information, if I know that my client is a projector, I may ask them more open-ended questions. Manifesting generators, and I actually don't know about you. Whoa, that was weird. Do you see that thumbs up?
Yep, that's the AI, the new AI thing.
Holy moly. I hope this is on the recording. Um, anyway, I don't know about you, so I think that you will probably know, but I know manifesting generators, we do much better with yes, no questions. And because and I'm a sacral authority, so I literally feel it when it's a yes. I literally feel it when it's a no. What are you? Do you know?
I don't remember. I do remember that I remember the manifesting generators being yes or no, because my business partner and I did like a potent partnership session with Cynthia. And so that was
Okay.
one of the things that came up for her. I
Wow.
I think if I remember, I think manifestors, we like open-ended questions. Oh, I apparently don't like to be questioned.
That's interesting. I guess that makes sense too if you don't like to be, what were you saying earlier? You don't like to
Be
be
told what to do.
told what to do, and you don't like being questioned. Oh my gosh. So how does that come up like in your life? Or are you like, that makes sense?
I feel like that does make sense. Like, I think partly I am bad at receiving feedback. And so like that kind of goes along with that. Like, I like to just do something and like, I want people to tell me that it's great.
Interesting. Wow.
And don't want any feedback.
That's so crazy. I was just having this conversation and with my sister and someone else, and they were talking about feedback, and my sister was like, I need like I need you to wrap it up in a pretty box with a bow on top, and it can be feedback and it can be like, here's what I could do better, but like I need you to present it in like a very
Mm,
beautiful way. And I'm the opposite. I'm like, no, don't do the sandwich method. Don't tell me
mm,
I'm doing well. Do the constructive criticism. Don't be like a dick about it, but like
yeah.
just be very blunt. And that might be my Leo. I'm a Leo sun and moon if we're gonna
Mm,
talk about astrology. So it might be like my Leo in me, or it might be a manifesting generator thing. But
yeah.
I'm like, give me the feedback. I need it. I
Interesting.
want it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, because I realize that I cannot go through life without accepting feedback. And there are things where I need feedback. What I have said, and this is actually what I have told my business partner and my husband, I want a heads up that you want to talk about the feedback because I need to like emotionally prepare to
Yes.
get the feedback. And then I'm going to be much more receptive. Like, I don't like being caught off guard by
Mm-hmm.
that type of stuff. Like, I'm one of those people, like, I want you to tell me that like you need to have a like difficult conversation with me and let me mentally and emotionally prepare. And then I'm going to be way more receptive than if you just spring it on me, which is ironic because I am like, I spring it on people. And I like, if I've got something to say, I just say it and I can't really wait to like have discussions later. So
Yeah.
I know that's a little hypocritical, but
Hey,
that's
that's
it. It is
so,
what it is.
yeah, that's a good, it's a good, I'm like, give me, if I had like my partner come to like one of my grounding circles or something, first thing I do when I go home, I'm like, tell me what I could have done better. Like, don't tell me
That's
I did a
so
good job.
funny.
Just tell me what I could have done better. Like, and not from a place that I'm going to like pound myself in the wall or like be very, because I'm not, it's really coming. And to me, it's like, I need to be safe.
Mm,
I need to be in a safe relationship. Like, I don't want anyone's opinion. I want the opinions of people whom I
mm,
love, who I trust, who I know are coming from a place of this is how you can grow
mm.
versus just like being overly critical or something like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, tell me. And like, I don't want the sandwich method. I don't want you to tell me like, oh, I like this. And I'm like, no, nobody cares.
Yeah, I am like that. When I get the feedback, I just want this like be straight up, be honest. Like, I don't need you don't need to like, I don't need anything that's like not real or not true. Like, just give it to me straight, but give me a heads up that you're going to give it to
I
me.
like that. I like that knowledge. I hope that other people align with that. So how has learning about human design, your design type, and also I assume this is an assumption, so I might be wrong, but I assume that you kind of know like your husband's human design type and you have mentioned your business partner's human design type. How has that served you in the way that you interact with these other people that you love?
It's really helpful. A fun fact, my husband is also a manifester.
No way. Manifest is
Yes.
only 9% of the population for
And
the
I don't know any other manifestors.
what?
When I found that out, it took us a while because it took a while for his mom to find like his birth time.
Okay.
And so when he found out, I was like, oh my God, that is it's fascinating on so many levels. And it like also explains so much on so many levels.
Oh,
But it's been helpful. Yeah. I mean, like understanding how two people work together, whether it's a romantic relationship, a friendship, a business relationship, it's just so important because like I said before, people aren't mind readers. And so we all have ways that we like to operate, and to make it the most smooth, productive, effective way to operate together, knowing how other people operate is
mhm.
super important. And communication, like again, I'm such a big people just talking to each other and like talking through something can solve a whole lot of stuff and prevent a whole lot of stuff if people would just like, put the work in, be honest. It does require some self-awareness. There are people who have
Uh-huh.
like gone deeper and understand more about themselves. Like I obviously know more about like myself and the way that I operate because I've spent more time doing that than like my husband has.
Mhm.
But it just helps you. It just makes things so much smoother when you can be like, I need you to tell me, like, I just remember something like related to a trip. Like I went ahead and booked a trip that I was doing by myself and like made certain plans and then went back and told my husband and he's like, wait, that's not actually a good idea. Like that wasn't this part isn't a good idea. And I was like, shit, that's an informing thing. Like I just went and did it and didn't tell you. And so like it wasn't a fight or anything, but it was just a simple like, that's probably not a good idea. You shouldn't do that. Kind of
Mhm.
thing. So yeah, it's helped with like the communication piece tremendously.
Mhm. I agree. And I think for me in my relationship, it's also helped me, like I said, it's helped me understand the other person a little bit more and
Mm-hmm.
why they do what they might do. And in a business relationship or a business partnership or even coworkers,
Mm-hmm.
um, understanding how they shine the most, like, again, projectors, they do well with rest, like, they need
Mm-hmm.
and they don't need to take a nap, but they do well with, like, breaks, so maybe if your business partner is a projector, right, like, we're gonna do an hour's worth of work, and then we're gonna take a 30-minute break, and then we're gonna do another hour's worth of work, something like that. In a romantic relationship, my current partner is also a projector. I guess I attract projectors. I don't know. I think a big part of it for me is like I needed to learn that it was okay to rest. And
Mm,
I think that was why I was attracting these partners. And now they just reiterate over and over. It's kind of a lesson that I need to learn often
mm,
as a man.
yeah,
I'm like, I need to learn that it's okay to rest. But he
yeah.
does really well. Like let's go do this whole morning activity and then let's come to the house and
Mm.
what did he say yesterday? It was so funny. It just tickled me. I don't know how he said it. He was like, we can come back to we can come back to home base and recharge for a minute
Yeah,
and then go
yeah.
out.
That's so, yeah.
Yeah,
And that's actually, as a manifestor, one of the just practical things that I learned was that I am not meant to work like 9 to 5 straight. I am meant to, as manifestors, we are meant to honor our like energetic flow. And
yeah,
there will be some days where you are full of energy and you're ready to just go and be super productive. And there's other days where you need to rest. And like on those days, I rest. Like yesterday, I woke up, I got a decent night's sleep, but I woke up just like exhausted. And I frankly just went back to bed, like took an hour and a half long nap rather than trying to push through because I knew that I was just gonna like spin wheels and not be super productive during that hour and a half. I would just probably be sitting there working and being like, oh, I'm so tired, just thinking about
yeah,
napping. So it's
yeah.
like, just go nap, get it over with, and then you feel way better and more productive. And that was a huge thing because I, for a very long time, just thought like, oh, and especially working for yourself, I thought it was like a lack of sort of like structure and motivation thing, my sort of not ability to like just be at my desk from 9 to 5 and knock out tasks and stuff. It really like helped me learn that it's not a product, like it's not a productivity thing. It's just not how I'm wired to actually work. And so like I can obviously never go work for somebody ever again or work in an office.
Same.
I am destined or doomed to be a small business owner. But
Yeah.
I really enjoy that. And like my business partner is a manifesting generator. And so one of the things that we identified about her, she loves like all sorts of different little random projects. And like she's the ideas person. And so one day she's like, Leah, you need to do a podcast about your book and like call it the wedding roller coaster. And I was like, Kumbi, please stop creating work for me. I am fine. I just want to be a lawyer. I don't want to hustle. I don't want to do this on the side. I don't want to do this. I just like, this is my streamlined period of life. I just want to have like a law firm. And she's got before like we started working together, she like had her own law firm thing. She has an online contract template shop. She's running an event publication. She then had some other like really interesting business ideas that she wanted to do. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, that, like, you don't have to do it all. Like, we can just do this one thing and like have it sustain us. And like, it's plenty, like have it be plenty. But yeah, she loves the ideas. And that's what, like, again, like you said, that's what lights her up. And she gets that energy and like gets really gung ho about it. So like, she helps push me and I help reel her back in.
I love that. I'm dying the entire time because I'm like, you're literally speaking me. And the funniest part to me is that I don't understand other people's perspectives and they don't understand mine. Like when I've always said I'm someone that balances a lot of plates, but I like it. And when I say that to my mom, who is a projector, she does not understand. Like she's always like, Hannah, you're doing way too much shit. You have way too much on your plate. Same with my boyfriend. And to me, I'm like, why not just add this one other thing? Like I like it, and and it doesn't make sense to me either. So like neither of us really really understand. But yes, I mean, I have a YouTube channel, I do Instagram, I do TikTok, even in my business. What it's allowed me to really lean into is I don't have to do just one thing. Like I don't have to just do the one-on-one coaching because I don't want to just do the one-on-one coaching. I also want to do group programs. I also want to do in-person events. And I don't want to talk about just one thing. I don't want to just be a nutritionist. My mom multiple times has said, like, why don't you just get like your certification in this, whatever it is, like Ayurveda or nutrition or whatever. And I'm like, because I don't want to just do Ayurveda. Like I want to be that introduction,
Mm,
but learning about human design, what it has gifted me is realizing that this is okay. Like this
yep.
is what I actually really love, balancing a lot on my plate, and that's okay.
Yep.
And just because one person is not that way, or just because one person is this way, like it doesn't make it right or wrong. We're all different. And let me again, if I didn't already reiterate it, just because you're a manifesting generator or a manifester, if you're a manifesting generator, it doesn't mean that you have to have 50 different professions. You might be like, I like the ideas person, right? Like you might just be someone that comes up with a lot of ideas for other people, or
Exactly.
you could be a manifesting generator and be that 9 to 5er. It doesn't work for me, but there's plenty of manifesting generators that like that. And then they like spinning their plates in different areas of their lives.
Yep.
So again, like, don't be afraid of putting yourself in a box. We're just sharing our personal stories, which I do love. But yeah, man, it kills me because I'm like, I love doing a bunch of different things, and I love cultivating new programs. Like I'm launching this
Mm,
new program for 7 weeks. And then after that, we have another group program. And then after that, like in the spring, there's going to be another group program offering. And then peppered in is all my other things. But I love that you're like, don't give me another thing to do.
I know. She also has a podcast too, on top of all that. Like,
Oh, I'm sure.
it's just, I know, I'm just like, I don't know. This is like, I'm happy on Instagram. I don't need to be on you. Like, I don't need to do all this stuff. Like, I just want to do this. I'm in the streamline season. I've always been that way though. Like, I have tried to juggle multiple sort of things. And it burns me out. It
Mhm.
just burns me out. And I'm like, just such a practical person that it's like, I look at, okay, the time I'm spending on this, if I spent it on like the main thing that I'm doing, that thing's going to flourish. That thing's going to like pay the bills and then some. Like, why am I doing this thing that is just eating my time and not fulfilling me and like also not making me money?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And keeping that in mind too, right? Like, and just there's so much there. So I want to wrap up. Is there any other last aspect of human design in general, or of manifestors in general, that you feel like you would really like to share?
I think we've kind of covered everything. I mean, like you said at the beginning, there's ways to go so deep into this. And so I kind of encourage you that, like, if our talk today has resonated with the people that are listening, if like you feel like a little bit like, oh, this is interesting, or oh, this was a light bulb moment, like I encourage you to dig a little bit deeper because there really is so much to unlock and you can truly learn so much about yourself. I mean, this is going to, again, this is going to kind of sound weird, but I've already said how transformational this is. But like when I was doing my work with Cynthia, like Cynthia said that my inclination is to play small. Like when manifestors are also not themselves, like they're playing small because like they want permission, they want approval, they're not sure of themselves. And like, I have completely sort of shifted my perspective and the way that I am showing up now and the way that I am walking through the world. Like, I don't give a shit about, I mean, I do, but I also don't give a shit about like what some people think. Like, the people that are my people are going to find me, they're going to support me. And so it's like, I'm tired of kind of like hiding. It was never inauthentic, but it was just never 100% me. And so like I have
Mm.
found a lot of strength and confidence to be 100% me now through the work that I've done with human design. So I'm grateful to all of this for that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And I have found, truly I've found the same. I think you stop looking for permission and you stop asking for permission, right? And you just truly live from that place of, this is authentically me and I'm okay with that. And
Yep.
I don't need you to be okay with it. Like,
Yep.
if you love me, then you're going to accept it. And if you're my, if you're my person, then you're going to accept it. And if you're not, then that's okay. Then you're not meant to be in my life anyway. So
Yep.
thank you so much. Where can people
Yeah.
find you if they want to follow along your journey or follow up with you? Where do you hang
Yeah. So I hang out primarily on Instagram because I don't do TikTok or YouTube or Twitter or X, whatever we're calling it now.
out?
So on Instagram, I am at the Leah Weinberg. If there are any small businesses out there who have any interest in legal representation, my law firm is called Oduberg, ODUBERG.com. It's a combination of mine and my business partner's last names. One friend said, it's like, you're a millennial married couple. But naming things is hard. And that felt very right to us to kind of combine it. So yeah. Yeah. So those are the two best ways to meet me.
Yay, so unique. I love it. Well, I will put all of your handles and everything down below in the
Awesome.
description box so people can find you. Thank you so much,
Perfect.
Leah. This was so much fun.
Thank you.